and thank you for joining the Smackdown post show for July 25th. Lots to talk about with tonight's WWE Smackdown, Hulk Hogan tribute, Jelly Roll, tag title defenses, plenty to get into. But for the first time on the Smackdown post show, replacing Alexis, who ran from the grind this week, I am joined by the beautiful, wonderful Cresta. You've seen her on the TNA post show. You've seen her on the Collision post show. If you watched our WWE Evolution post show, you got to see us together. I love when I get to talk to Cresta. Cresta, how are we doing tonight?
I am doing great. Hello, everyone. Right now we are corporate Cresta, so I am living the gimmick. I am pleased to be here amongst you locals.
Well, we appreciate it too. We appreciate it. So we will remind you real quick to get into your super chats, get into your humper chats at humperchat.com. Please do leave a thumbs up on this video. And heck, we are over 195,000 subscribers to this YouTube channel. What? My goodness. So thank you so much for the support on that. Bunch of news for you on Fightful Select, as always, including some unfortunate injury news about Jay White and the duration that it looks like he's going to be out. Plenty up on Fightful Select. Even just today, a lot of updates that were going up during this episode of SmackDown. We do have this from Tim, who's always so kind to us, who says Cresta should be the permanent replacement if the TNA post show gets stopped. We're not making any decisions until after SummerSlam, but I also just wanted to pull this up because this Kevin Owens avatar is like one of my favorite pictures ever taken in wrestling history. Like him just with his head in the ropes turnbuckle is unbelievable to me. But I'm glad you guys love Cresta. I love Cresta. Joel's in the chat showing support, saying it's Cresta Alexis. Yeah, we're taking over here, but lots to talk about. Obviously, the news about Hulk Hogan kind of dominating this episode of SmackDown, dominating this week's news cycles. There were conflicting reports out there kind of about what the status of what was going on with Hulk Hogan was. Sounds like it was cardiac arrest that was the thing that caused him to pass away. And that I'm probably not the wrestling podcaster to listen to about Hulk Hogan. If you want to listen to wrestling podcasters about the contributions of Hulk Hogan to what he's done to pro wrestling, I'm not like the historian in that sense because I started watching in 2009 and I'm not really connected to his work in that way. I would be remiss if I didn't say North American professional wrestling just wouldn't be, quite frankly, what it is without his contributions. He, whether you think it could have been another guy or not, he's the guy that they chose and he made it a national sensation. Whether you feel like it should have stayed the territories or not is something that's completely up to you. And he also elevated wrestling into pop culture, really. And whether you think Suburban Commando wasn't worth it for us to see The Rock and John Cena and MJF. I understand that perspective too, but regardless of the Terry Bollea side of him, it would certainly be wildly dismissive of me not to acknowledge the fact that North American wrestling had his fingerprints all over it. And he molded a lot of what it is today. Now, if you want to talk about the Terry Bollea aspect of it, I'm also not the wrestling podcaster because there's a million incredible voices in this space from Black wrestling podcasters, Black wrestling content creators that you should listen to above mine. But it would also be dismissive of me not to acknowledge his persistent, consistent, unapologetic, and proud, consistent pattern of racist remarks and behavior. And I'm, like many, absolutely nauseated by a lot of the things that he did and said. And I know there were a lot of people with the don't remember people for their mistakes. The guy didn't think it was a mistake. Like, he continued to make those remarks. He doubled down on it when asked about him, and he went out of his way to not apologize, even when he was called into a locker room to apologize on him. So I'm not the one to give my thoughts beyond that in that regard. What I will say with confidence is this is extremely complicated for a lot of people. And like the more I've been listening and the more I've been paying attention, like this is really, really complicated because there's a lot of people who fell in love with wrestling because of Hulk Hogan. There's a lot of people that felt attached to the American hero that he represented. And then when you found out later in life, as you're like literally in the years of evolving into an adult where moral and ethical compass become a thing, during those formative years, you're finding out about who the guy that was playing that character was, and it distorts your view of your own childhood in that way. And I have so much empathy, and I'm so sorry to the people who are in pain about that, because that's like an extremely specific and exquisite pain to have to work through. And the I guess specific is the right word, because you kind of can't compare it to anything and you kind of can't explain it. Like, so I understand the people that are grappling with that, and like my heart just goes out to them, like regardless of what you think of Hulk Hogan and which side you're choosing to remember, or if you're choosing to process the all of it. For those people that are like in pain about it, that's really tough. And also with his passing dies the hope that maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll wake up one day and realize it. And even for people that thought that was like a slim possibility, that possibility is now gone too with his passing, that like he would ever try and apologize or redeem himself in any way. So I just, my heart goes out to the wrestling fans that are in pain for whatever reason for that. Certainly his family members too. I can't imagine how like his daughter feels and having to reconcile all this. But I would just say Cresta, SP3, Phil, Reg, Seahawk, Lyric. There are so many incredible voices to listen to, Abu, about the complexities of that side of it. And there are also a lot of people, Sean Ross Sapp, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, that can speak to the contributions that he made through a more historical lens than I can. My biggest attachments to his work were probably through the Macho Man feud, which I think is true for a lot of people. And in watching it, I just fell so in love with Macho Man. So it's like, even if my attachments are kind of to the other side of that coin. But Cresta, if there's anything you want to say, feel free. If you don't want to say anything, I wouldn't blame you. Up to you.
I knew this Rick level eventuality was going to happen. So I do have a corporate response here. And I know people are saying, Cresta, that's a little disingenuous. But I'm corporate Cresta, and disingenuity is what I do. And that's a word I just made up. Listen, I can understand that things are very complicated right now. As someone who has had complicated feelings, it's a weird duality of this person got me into wrestling. Oh, when he says brother, he doesn't mean that. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I will say to people who are trying to tell people you need to forgive, I would urge you to not accept or make apologies if you're not the directly affected party, number one. Number two, we can remember someone historically and still call them out for it. Number three, just like you wouldn't want someone to tell you how to feel about this, I don't think you get to tell people how to feel about this, especially people of color, especially Black people. You don't know Terry Bollea. I don't know Terry Bollea. Don't get yourself canceled among your social group because you're defending someone you do not know. I think it is a sad day for wrestling, because I would be lying if I said that without whatever he did, we wouldn't have Cena in movies, The Rock in movies, Batista in movies. I'll give the flowers where they're due, but that's where the flowers stop. And I think that's okay for me to feel like that. I think it's okay for people to feel how they feel. But again, corporate Cresta here, don't get canceled among your friend group defending someone you don't know, because you're capping for someone who openly said horrible things about people who look like me. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you in HR for your fuck comments. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I look forward to my evaluation. I'm hoping
not you, Kate. You're fine. So... You're fine. You're fine. You're fine, Kate. You're fine.
Well, it is like I really do think what you said about letting people run the course of their emotions is something that's really, really important with this, because like I chose not to publicly make any jokes about it or anything like that. And I saw so many people being like, how dare people, like, that's not for anybody else to say. Like, everybody's got their own platforms. Everybody's allowed to go about it in the way that they want to. And I just feel like it's so important to, as a white person, shut up and listen, first of all, but also like
Not shut up and
there,
listen.
but yeah, like, and I think on top of that, like, um, he was such an important figure and he was so proud of his racism that, like, of course it's going to spark this range of reactions. And I don't think it's really anybody's place to judge anybody else's, except for people who are telling other people how to feel. Like that I think is not the way. But they pay tribute to him to open the show. They did the 10 bell salute. They did a video package that highlighted his contributions to the industry. They didn't go overboard on like what an incredible, amazing, wonderful guy. And I was glad. They did, of course, make him the pinnacle of pro wrestling in the sense that, like how on the Evolution post show, you and I said, like, Stephanie McMahon invented women's wrestling. Like they kind of did make it feel that way with Hulk
invented
Hogan.
wrestling too. That's true.
Yes,
That's true.
there you go. But I will say, like, undeniably, he was synonymous with pro wrestling at the time that he was on his rise, and that you can't deny, because like the bandana and the mustache man was like the Jordan logo of pro wrestling. Like
Very true.
Was the guy that people, even who didn't watch wrestling, understood was that guy. So any thoughts on the 10 bell salute in the opening video package? I thought they did a pretty tasteful job without trying to be overpowering on the oh my gosh, what a guy side. Like they really focused on his contributions to wrestling.
I thought it was tasteful. I will say WWE always delivers with video packages. Whether they want you to be the bad guy or the good guy, they can really, as some would say, control their narrative. I would just encourage people who are back to the Hogan thing. Well, it's not that big a deal. I would encourage you to play I Spy with the crowd.
There was quite a lot of that I saw online, and
I think that should tell you where you should stand, depending. Like, let people feel how they feel, but people who work there, just play I Spy. Sure. And if we come to the same conclusion, maybe.
There were a lot of screenshots going around, and I'll leave it at that. We can all draw our own conclusions, but we got some super chats and humper chats that are rolling in here. Thank you so much for sending in love and support. I know this is going to be a lot. This one's going to be a lot. So know that this is a safe space to, within reason, feel free to share however you're feeling about it. But no poets allowed saying we must never forget the bad stuff. I'll admit the 10 bells and the highlight reel had me in tears. I'm such a damn mark. Thankful to be here with Kate, our OTK, and Miss Cresta. You're two of the finest analysts in the business. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And no poets adding also. And tonight, just like the real world, the women's roster and persons of color all do great work. Then white dudes show up and ruin everything. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that too. C. Delgado just saying thank you for your perspective, corporate Cresta. I think we definitely
That's why
appreciate
they have
it.
me here. I am the senior JA of Fightful. And if you're wondering what JA stands for jackass.
Well, if you're HR, I'm just saying don't go to any Coldplay concerts. Just to cover yourself. Like don't or go. Just watch the company that you go.
So
with.
who am I hugging? Who's hugging me, Kate? I'll see you in the office.
I'm not pointing any fingers.
I'll see you after the show.
I'm just saying I could do worse than holding Cresta Star during like I'll Fix You or whatever the hell Coldplay was playing.
Somebody played. That's not Coldplay. Wait, that's Celine Dion.
That is Celine Dion. Maybe Coldplay could cover Celine Dion. Perfect for us. Bad Robot saying, hello, still favorite post show. Yay, Cresta is here for the Checks Notes Hogan Memorial Show. Oh, sorry, that kind of sucks. Julia's title run should be booked like Gunther's IC run. Come on. Love y'all. I did, after the Jelly Roll segment, message Cresta and say, I'm sorry that I asked you to review the whitest episode of wrestling television ever, but we're going to get into all of that and more. Taylor Cannon saying, hello, Kate and Cresta, two of my favorites. So glad to see you guys doing a show together. Hope you both are well this evening. Look, like I had mentioned, like Sean and I haven't made any decisions about going forward. And Sean's even talked about like maybe I'll jump in at some point or whatever. But as far as like people that I was like, who would be fun as hell at 10:10 on a Friday to talk about some Cresta, like a pretty simple gut reaction on that one. So I appreciate her guest hosting today very much. Ricardo's saying hello, lovelies, Sour Queen and Miss Cresta. We do the Sour Queen and our HR representative.
I don't know why
Anthony
they told
Velasquez
me to be HR.
saying pretty boring show, says Anthony Velasquez, but tag team division continues to be a bright spot, as well as the Hogan tribute. I understand his impact on the biz, but it is hard for me to separate the wrestler from the man. Conflicted feelings for me tonight. I've been seeing a lot of that, and you don't like, I would also just say you don't have to. Like I think there's like this innate internal pressure to do that. And it's like, you don't have to separate the wrestler from the man. It can just be that tricky and complex, honestly.
Truly, honestly. Come on, God. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, if we keep getting chats like this, Crest is going to be invited back every week because we get this huge chat. Huge chat. $100. Thank you, Lonnie and Kimberly. Saying he changed his life in 2023 when he gave it to God. We all make mistakes. We all learn from those mistakes and grow and evolve from those mistakes. He should be honored for his life's work and helping bring this thing that we all love to the world. R.I.P. Hulk.
Can I just swerve in for that real quickly?
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Lonnie and Kimberly. Cresta, Corporate Cresta here. I understand what you are saying. I would just encourage you to feel your feelings and let people feel their feelings and laugh. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you felt about the Hulkster, he was there to bring you entertainment. So take the good with the bad, let people have their jokes, and do your tributes. Thank you so much for your contribution. I'll see you after the function in my office as well. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll just say, like, I was not following him that closely. But I certainly, I never saw like actions on righting his wrongs. I never saw like apologies. I never saw anything like that. So if he did change his life, that's great. I hope that for the best. But I didn't see, I'm not like besides like, I don't even know how to say this. Overall, I'm not a big like canceled forever person. I did not see anything that was like in his actions and words proportionate to the damage that he caused with the things that he did and said. I'll just leave it like that. But however people feel we're very appreciative of the chat, and I certainly understand, especially the latter part of that chat, of he is undeniably a gateway into a lot of people's love for wrestling and into helping make wrestling what it was today, especially just like on North American territory, especially. Ricardo saying RIP Iron Sheik, you were always right. Thank you. Tim McVal saying Kate got Cresta to not only watch WWE but a Hogan tribute. If that doesn't deserve money, nothing does. Jokes aside, as someone who watched Mania 1, it's not complicated. Hogan's actions and words hurt and angered a lot of people. The jokes and hate are earned. Similarly,
I'm sorry.
No. Please, this is much more fitting for you to talk about than me.
First, I messaged Kate and said, if this show is 3 hours, she was like, no.
This episode of Smackdown runs. She said, this isn't 3 hours, is it?
Please, no. Also, I will say, maybe because I'm a cynic, and I'm about to give you guys some hard truths here about professional wrestling here with Corporate Cresta. Racism to a lot of people is not a deal breaker, and that resides in and out of the squared circle. So while it may not be a deal breaker for some people, it is for others. He was a gateway, like I said, for a lot of people coming into wrestling. But again, I think you can't be mad at people for feeling how they feel. I'm a cynic, so I engage with the jokes and move on, because realistically, what can we do? What can he do? What can you do? And the answer is, mind your business. Don't get canceled amongst your friend group for protecting someone that you don't even know.
I like Cresta's legalese and all of this. I'm also like, it's so weird being like my real-time experience of this person was only Terry Bollea and that aspect of it. I'm not compelled because of that behavior to go back and watch a lot of stuff. I'll always appreciate the Andre Slam moment. I get The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Like I get all of those aspects, but I'm not like, oh, let me go learn more about this man's legacy. Because I just feel like entering as an adult fan, like I just value.
You value different things. And Hulk Hogan, respectfully, at this point, is a nostalgia pop. I can say that now I can listen. Know what? I'm not. But I still do listen to Hulk Hogan's theme. It's a banger. I say find what you like.
It is, but like being a proud racist is weighs so much more to me than slamming Andre. I don't. For me, this is purely a mea culpa. Just for me. I don't give a shit who you picked up. Unless your suplex also cured cancer, I like it. Nothing compares to the things that he said. This is not someone who like had remarks that were misconstrued. He was very proud of it. He was very proud of it. And that is nauseating. Here's what I tell my friends about the situation. RIP to Hulk Hogan, rotten piss to Terry. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that are struggling with that piece of it. And I get it. I get all that. Tim saying, preach corporate Cresta. She's a better woman than I.
I got my jokes out yesterday, so I could be a little bit more level-headed today. Again, I'm much a cynic, and I think that when it comes to wrestling, much like a lot of things, you should enjoy it passively. And some of us forget that.
Yeah. Again, you're a better person than I am.
I'm not. I'm corporate Cresta. I am not. I'm corporate Cresta, baby. I'm controlling my narrative.
Yeah, I on certain things lose control of my narrative. I could never see why on. But we do get this video package. We do have Joe Tessitore. He did acknowledge, like, I appreciate that Joe Tessitore like acknowledged the complexity and of the nature of Hulk Hogan's legacy. Like I appreciate that. They also followed it up with Logan Paul and Jelly Roll, which was like a jarring transition. I gotta say.
Was it?
Like Logan Paul comes out. He is just like, I'm basically the LeBron James of this town. I make Cleveland great, not the other way around, yada, yada, yada. And he teased a live podcast confrontation with Jelly Roll, who interrupts. And the confusion of him coming out to, I believe, Toby Keith's Who's Your Daddy?
I thought that was his song.
I think it was Toby Keith's song.
Which, I don't know who Jelly Roll is. I'm so sorry.
I'm, first of all, shocked. Second of all, I don't think it was like a cover. It's definitely not his song. I don't think it was like his cover. But it is Toby Keith, and Toby Keith did like a thing in WWE. So like I get it. It's not an entrance song though. It like plays kind of quieter, and I was like, what is happening? But he comes out and he makes a couple of jokes that got a pop. He says like he's trying to be a light in the world, and the only light that Logan's ever brought to the ring like is an actual ring light, which as like a white girl, I can appreciate like bringing your ring light everywhere. He also said that he's softer than Charmin, and while I appreciate that, I will remind him that the mascot for Charmin is bears. Like,
we love bears.
They're aggressive animals. I would still choose the bear over a lot of men. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, Toby Keith was TNA and not WWE. The hell if I know. So he teases Randy Orton's theme. Randy Orton comes out. And then we get the cavalry here, right? Drew McIntyre sliding in behind Logan Paul, prompting Jelly for backup. I don't know why if someone's just singing another guy's theme, you don't just attack them. But that was something that I saw a couple people like, not only is it like you're waiting for the theme to hit, this guy saying 2 lines of it beforehand, but that's wrestling for you. Randy Orton appears. We're throwing punches. We do have Jelly Roll hitting a black hole slam alongside Randy Orton as Logan and Drew retreat. I'll just say that this is not a program that I would put together at all if I was booking professional wrestling. That said, if someone said, this is the program you have to book for professional wrestling, this is probably pretty close to how you do it, right? You have the late night spot that happens the other day. You have him and Logan Paul come out and trade words so that it's not like Drew and Randy are the ones that are standing tall. People love Jelly Roll. I'm not like so familiar with his game. He got himself in an incredible shape compared to where he was the last time we saw him on screen, and all the reports are that he's been taking this extremely seriously. I can't think of a program that's running right now that is like less for me, and the fact that this is on a proper SummerSlam card and Julia is not defending her title, quite frankly, pisses me off. And you'll see people that are like, well, what about the Costco guy? They're the main event of the 0 hour on AEW pay-per-views. So it's not that I have a problem with Jelly Roll being involved. It seems like he is a really great like advocate for WWE. He grew up loving it. It seems sincere when he talks about it. I don't mind him being involved. I'm just looking at Drew McIntyre being like, he went through hell with CM Punk. Him and Damian Priest beat the hell out of each other. And the follow-up is, I'm teaming with Logan Paul against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's what I would do. And the fact that this is on the card and Julia is not is some nonsense to me, Cresta. I say nonsense. What do you think of this Charmin insulting ring light fire that we got here?
So this typically isn't my beat. On Fridays, I typically watch RuPaul's Drag Race season 10. All-Stars just finished, and there was a lot of malarkey there. So to my surprise, it was malarkey here because literally one of my notes says, what in the FK? I'm not sure who this is for. I will say I did like the line when Jelly Roll said the only thing you've convinced young people to do is to film themselves be jerks, because accurate. I don't know. I want to go with the positives here. I did like Jelly Roll working like, you're not going to do anything to me, Mr. Paul. You're going to run into me. I did like that. To piggyback off of what Kate said, this is not for me. But if I was going to book it, I'm going to book it this way. And I would even go so far as to say that whether us old people get off my stoop, like it or not, Logan Paul's, I Show Speeds, all these content creators are going to be the new celebrities coming in to fill those roles with WWE. Of course, you'll have your traditional celebrities like Jelly Roll, musicians, other people who want to mix it up in the ring like your Bad Bunnies. But you're going to see a lot more content creators, social media stars. And while I am old and out of touch because I'm approximately 9,000 years old, that's why I'm HR, I know everything. I can see why they're going to do that. It's not for me. I won't lie. It's not for me. I think the whole Paul thing personally isn't for me, but it doesn't have to be. And that's the glory of professional wrestling. It could be a little bit for everybody. I know that when this comes on at SummerSlam, I can go to the beverage, to the drinks and get a cool pop.
I agree with you. And once again, a better woman than I. Some more chats. Taylor saying, I appreciate your perspective on this corporate Cresta. Thank you for that. I love that corporate Cresta is like, it's becoming a thing already. Like we're a half hour into this and people are like, corporate.
Eventually I'm going to break and get annoyed because I got to keep it real.
Meet Norma saying, RIP Malcolm and Ozzy. Did I miss anyone? Nope. Okay, let's crank. So many claps and no Cardoza. Oh my. Didn't watch, but wanted to show you people some love. Well, thank you very, very much. Meet Normus, always so supportive. And you know what, Meet Normus? I just want to say thank you for putting one Sean Ross Sapp in his place, because Sean Ross Sapp gets on this very YouTube channel and is like, I like my steaks like medium to medium well done. And rightfully so. The face you're making right now,
Sean Ross Sapp,
reaction.
I will see you in HR later on.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
I
gonna
know. Yeah, you're coming to
step
HR.
into my
pal.
office, please. Level of I'm with you. The chat was with you, and meet Normus, who is, I mean, the authority of meat around here. If you're corporate Cresta, he's got to be like at least the EVP of meat. Like, it's obviously not the Young Bucks. So
I'm also the COO of Meat. So me and Meat Normus, we share, we conglomerate, commiserate. You know, we smoke the meats. And before anyone makes any jokes, just ask yourself, do you want to go to HR with Cresta?
Do you, as a COO, have a fun dance like Mercedes?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
The joke I almost made, never mind.
Again, incredible restraint thus far, so I will take it. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Since I did mention SummerSlam, I'll just run down the cards for y'all real quick. I'll be at night 1 of SummerSlam. If any of you are there and available, I would love to say hi. But we do have our women's tag team match with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. We're going to talk about them shortly. And Raquel and Roxanne, your current champions, on the other side of that. Gunther versus Punk on night 1. That kind of surprised me. But I'll be seeing CM Punk wrestle under the WWE umbrella for maybe the first time since he's returned. That's pretty wild.
Oh, wow.
Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan. Already talked about that. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. You want to talk some meat? That's gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun one. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, and Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. That is your Saturday card. Your Sunday card has Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, John Cena and Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. I'm really looking forward to that. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, and Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, which I honestly would not be shocked if we walk away saying that's the match of the weekend with the magic we can see in all of that. So that is your SummerSlam card. Noticeably, no women's US title on it. But if you are looking at that and you're like, what if I wanted to put a little money down on some of this? What if I, as an astute wrestling watcher, with the guidance of FightfulSelect.com, where we are 31 for 31 on lock picks, if I want to pay for my Fightful Select subscription, if I can just join and maybe lock in on these picks, I could make some money. Well, you can do that with MyBookie.
MyBookie AG is where Fightful is getting all of our odds, not just pro wrestling, which, yeah, you can bet on pro wrestling, UFC, boxing. That's where we're getting our odds from. If you're watching In the Weeds and they're talking about basketball odds, it's going to be from MyBookie AG. Use the code FIGHTFUL, get a $50 bonus when you deposit $100, or get a $100 bonus when you deposit $200. Check it out. If you think you know more than the average wrestling fan, head over to MyBookie. They have some odds up all the time for upcoming events, whether it be WWE, AEW, anybody. Make sure you check them out in addition to their other fantastic deals. They've been around for quite a while, very reliable. MyBookie AG. Use that code FIGHTFUL. Now, only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly, but head over, see what lines they got now. Not just for pro wrestling. Maybe you're interested in baseball, football, basketball, soccer, or just football again, right? MyBookie AG.
MyBookie AG, and my goodness, do we still have more chats coming in from you guys, so thank you so much. Meet Norma saying, me and Cresta, the Meatglomeration Inc. Kate, nice thanks. I will say, even as a vegan, that I feel like the thing with being vegan is that no animals are harmed in the food that is being produced for you. That's what you aim for. Now, as far as wrestling goes, no animals are harmed when I get big meaty men slapping meat. That animals are fine.
Maybe some animals are harmed, but it's to my sports entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Like they consented to that behavior. So I'm in on the meat match. It's just not but I'll say when I did eat steak, they weren't medium well done. What is that nonsense?
I don't know what that is.
This chat making a wonderful point saying, to those thinking he made attempts to redeem himself, it was just last year he fired his beer ambassador after finding out she was black.
That did happen.
Yeah, like there was a consistent pattern of behavior, and in my estimation, this is again for me, there were certainly not an equal number of actions taken to try and resolve that. And when I'm pretty sure there were no actions taken to resolve that. Love seeing Cresta on a post AEW review with Iridian. Fun seeing her here. I love what's fun about the Saturday post show. If you're a Collider, any combination of the three of you or any combination of the two of you is really, really fun. Like if it's you and Rick or you and Iridian, it's fun. If it's the two of them, like you guys do a really, really great job. But let's continue talking about some SmackDown. Let's talk about Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah,
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Because right after that promo, they had a segment with Rey Fenix and Andrade. And again, this isn't my normal beat. Why isn't Rey Fenix with Penta? Why is Andrade in a tag team?
I was gonna save it for the main event, but you know what? It deserves its own spotlight right here, right now, because the style that Andrade brought to this segment. Okay.
Fantastic. I mean, honestly, Rey Fenix looked good, but he made Rey Fenix look cheap. And that's insane because Rey Fenix always looks good. And Andrade said 3-piece suit and I'm gonna look like the Penguin.
I feel like we got the side of Andrade that is like, just a reminder, I'm here for money and not friendship, which my favorite Andrade was the version of him that didn't understand friendship. Like he was like, why would I care? I'm here to wrestle and make money. So for the added lore, Penta arrived before Rey Fenix did, and he kind of took off in his own singles direction pretty hot and heavy. He's cooled down now, but I think if they do like a draft or something, or maybe they'll build a story about like Andrade and Rey Fenix gaining some momentum and that annoying Penta or whatever, like, but they kind of just weren't doing anything with Andrade, and they kind of weren't really. Fenix was getting some wins, but he wasn't feeling important at all. And it seemed like they just kind of paired them together as like a testing 1, 2, 3. And then it worked really well. Like in ring, they're really, really fun to watch. So I think they were like, well, let's keep this going until him and his brother are in the same brand. But a lot of people are also asking the question that you're watching, and they aren't people that are normally busy on Friday nights. A lot of people are like, why isn't he with his brother? But, I love this chat from Tom, who says, I love Kate, but tonight I got to shout out Cresta. She rules. Also shouting out Phil, Reg, and SP3 for no particular reason.
Brother. EEEEEERR. Brother. My big brother. Sorry, wrong show.
Right show.
Right free. Show, actually. Right show.
Feel free. Ten Ruza saying shout out to AEW and TK for not saying a thing. A lot of people had conflicting feelings about the AEW account and the Tony Khan personal account not saying anything. I'll also give them through tomorrow because they haven't run a TV, so they might acknowledge it not on social media. But
he never worked there. Why would they? I mean, respectfully, professionally he was banned from the show, and he never worked there. If people have something to say, let them say it.
Yeah, there were Tony Khan had tweeted a few years ago in response to Linda Hogan saying some racist things that she and Hulk Hogan were banned from AEW. I don't know if they'll acknowledge it just as a wrestling contributions thing tomorrow, but I don't think it's overwhelmingly out of line if they choose to or choose not to. I think it would be weird if WWE didn't, because the existence of their brand lies on it. If they were nauseatingly over the top with like, wow, what a guy, that would have not sat right with me. But I feel like they kind of found the middle ground, and we'll talk about the Cody aspect of that too. But let's swing into some ladies action that we got tonight. Last week we had Charlotte and Raquel and what was a fun one-on-one match leading up into this tag program. Tonight we get Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez in this. The first hour of this show was brought to you commercial 3. This match started 35 minutes into the show. So all of the tributes certainly affected the pacing of the show in a severe way. But Bliss with Charlotte Flair in her corner, battling Roxanne with Raquel in her corner. A lot of good energy here, but there is some uneasy tag story with Charlotte and Alexa that they're keeping alive. They are so not friends. They are so the alliance of convenience. We have a distracted Alexa diving onto Raquel with the twisted Bliss to save Charlotte, leaving her vulnerable, which means that Roxanne rolls her up using the ropes because she's a dirty, rotten cheater, that Roxanne. I think this is a good sign if you're a fan of the Charlotte and Alexa pairing, because Wrestling Math tells you that if Alexa gets pinned now, assuming they don't have a segment next week, that means they're probably winning those tag titles. So I'm this pairing. So at first I was like, I don't know about this, but like I'm liking Charlotte and Alexa. Like this is something that I feel like has gone well for both of them. The commentary did a good job also noting that like Alexa was there to protect Charlotte more than she cared about winning the match. And that doesn't seem like it's Charlotte's MO, like that Charlotte is probably wouldn't do the same for her in that situation, which I think is a nice character disparity. But this was good, man. Roxanne's amazing. Like she's such a young star with such a bright future ahead of her. She desperately needed a win. She's taken the most losses out of any woman on the roster, I think, on the main roster of anybody. So I'm glad that they at least let her look all right here. What did you think of this match? And do you have a preference on who you want walking out as champs? Do you want Roxanne and Raquel to keep this in the Judgment Day, or are you kind of digging this Charlotte and Alexa pairing?
So I've missed a couple of chapters of SmackDown Live. I don't ever understand why Charlotte Flair is with someone. Charlotte Flair is a mean, nasty girl, and that's okay. That's her character. I do appreciate people cheering her now, because I used to be one of those people like, Charlotte Flair, get her off my screen. Now I'm like, okay, guys, are we going to boo her in kayfabe, or what are we doing? Because this woman comes out and be vulnerable. Y'all boo her for being vulnerable, but you cheer her when she's a jerk, but then you boo her for being nice. If I'm Charlotte, I've had it. I do like that it looks like on the outside, her and Bliss are having fun. They're not friends. However, Charlotte is nobody's friend, but also Alexa Bliss is nobody's friend. Allies of convenience. I don't think you guys are going to stab each other. I like them together. I think they're fun and great together. And you can tell that these two have a chemistry that not a lot of single stars can get together. However, I do think there's more meat on the bone if you let the Judgment Day retain the women's tag titles, because surely Olivia Morgan would have no problem with Roxanne just holding on to her tag title. Surely.
It's an interesting one, because right now the deal is all of Judgment Day has titles, right? The women do, the men do, and Dominic does. So who's going to lose first to start that unraveling is going to be interesting. I could see Raquel and Roxanne losing, and then Dominic eventually losing to Finn, because Finn gets, like, I could see the gals losing their tag titles. I could see the men losing their tag titles. Finn being jealous of Dominic and costing Dominic down the line, or whatever. Because I think they want to turn Dominic babyface. I know you said you were a few chapters behind, but what I think is working with the Charlotte and Alexa angle is Charlotte has been like last week, for example, she was like, well, we didn't really lose that Evolution because we didn't get pinned. So I went to Pierce and I got us a tag title shot. And Alexa said, like, just like that. And she goes, well, I mean, I'm still Charlotte Flair. Like, there's been fun winks and nods to who her character's been and what the like online narrative about her is. So I appreciate that you're right. They've fallen into this alliance of convenience rather than like, we're different people now. I think that's what's kind of clicking in about it for me.
I'll even say one step further that the promo that they do later with them backstage, Alexa Bliss, that was such a badass shot. I will always say that they like to show men doing tough and rough stuff, and the women always got to be prim and proper. So I appreciate Alexa, like, yo, I got a bloody nose. That's just the price of doing business. You ever seen Mean Girls, Kate?
Of course.
You know who Charlotte Flair reminds me of? Remember after Regina George got hit by the bus and she had the back brace and she's trying to turn over a new leaf, but it's the same leaf?
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Because she's trying to be a good person, but she's also Regina George on the lacrosse field, like tackling,
Beating
girl.
that lot of people. Cresta, I love that you unlocked that.
That's exactly what I
gosh.
thought of. Not Regina George before, because, you know, Charlotte's trying to clean up her image. I respect it. Going to PR as a corporate person, I get it. But it's definitely given Regina George, I'm going to knock your block off.
Oh my gosh. Will a Janice Ian enter the chat? We'll find out. We're going to find out. Guys, get in your super chats and humper chats. Leave a thumbs up on this video, please. And do subscribe to this YouTube channel. We've got so much wrestling coverage coming up for y'all. We will be doing like a bit of a whirlwind for SummerSlam. Sean is going to fly in. He's going to do interviews because you guys love them. Not because they're fiscally responsible for this decision for this YouTube channel, but because you guys tend to love when we do press. He's going to fly in, but he's going to fly back that night. I'll be at night 1 of WrestleMania. I don't think anyone's back for night 2. So I think Sean is still going to have your main channel review. And of course, Alex Pulowski will be behind the paywall, probably with SP3 for night 1, but I will be back in action behind the paywall for night 2. People are loving your reference here.
I'm not wrong. That's the first thing I thought of when she sat down and was like, "You're cool about that?" And I was like, that's so Regina George coded, especially at the end when she wrote, Regina George is a nasty woman, and Regina George wrote it. That's
I love it. I love it. Fun musical, by the way. The musical movie I never actually saw, but the musical itself proper. A good time.
I've never seen the musical or the movie. I've seen the movie, not the musical movie.
The musical movie, yeah. They were sneaky, Cresta. They were like, we're remaking Mean Girls, and all the advertisements didn't really tell you it was a musical. It was very sneaky the way they promoted it. I was like, you gotta let people know if they're signing up for a freaking musical.
Yeah.
That's a different animal. Let's keep moving along. We get this backstage with Jade cutting a confident promo before running into Chelsea Green, who is kind of whining about her Queen of the Ring situation. Jade literally drags her to the ring, which I thought was a cute way to have this relationship unfold, basically. And Chelsea's backup, Piper and Alba, were out getting coffee. So a misstep.
She told them to secure the perimeter. That's her fault. Chelsea,
she's incredible, man. She really is. She's so good. And then we have a bit of a blink and you miss it squash. This went 5 minutes, but it was a glorified squash. You have Chelsea getting a quick hope spot with the zigzag, but Jade hitting that Jaded for the win. Post-match, we had Tiffany Stratton run down to help Jade fight off Piper and Alba Fire. And after standing tall, Jade hands the title back to Tiffany. So there's like a little bit of a show of respect. And I said last week, like, they did a really good video package talking about the parallels between them. Like, we both debuted at Royal Rumble. We've both been champions in this company before. We both have messed up friendships because of everything that happened with Jade and Naomi, everything that happened with Tiffany and Nia, obviously. So they've done a pretty decent job for this build. Wondering what you think of kind of our glorified squash here, but do you also think that Jade is the one to dethrone Tiffany at SummerSlam? Now that Naomi has a different title, I'm less convinced.
I'll be completely honest with you. I was sports confused as to why Tiffany Stratton helped Jade Cargill.
That's fair.
I was very sports confused on that. 10 out of 10 for Chelsea Green. Never any notes. I seen Chelsea Green when she was going through tables in TNA. So get your yucks off now. I too would take. I would take some time. I don't think Jade takes it off of Tiffany, and I don't know if that's a hot take or not. But yeah, while this was a glorified squash match, I don't think Jade takes it off of Tiffany. Unless there's shenanigans afoot, because I do feel like, from what I do remember, Tiffany is there. I'm sorry, I'm looking down. Mercedes Meow-Nay is harassing me. I don't understand what we do here. It might be a smash finish because Tiffany Stratton is their girl, but so is Jade. in an alternate lifetime, Naomi comes out for the memes. I don't know here, but I gotta be real with you. I don't know if I'm sports interested in this match.
That's fair. I will say, like sometimes we get inconsistencies from Jade in the ring, and I think the best match I've seen her have, definitely in WWE, maybe ever, was with Tiffany. They had a TV match that was really, really good. So I'm hoping they're able to recreate that magic at SummerSlam. I am wondering, because there were reports that Jade has a movie to film. Like maybe Jade loses and goes away here. But even though Naomi has the other title, one piece of this story that lays unresolved is Bianca. And I'm wondering if she helps Jade win, if she is on the other side of things here, if Bianca is like, no, my hand is still messed up, I don't have any interest in any of this. But this is one of the less predictable ones now that Naomi cashed in on the other title. I do think maybe Jade loses, and because Naomi has gold and she doesn't, that drives her a little nuts and she has to show up elsewhere. But I also feel like that's a heel move and not a face move, so we'll see.
There's always the wild card that you insert somebody else into this match for no reason.
Right. Yeah. That's the WWE way a lot of times. So
what's Nia Jax doing in the Impact Zone?
Now let's see it. Let's see Nia Jax and Masha. Give me.
Whoa. I would pay top $digi to see Nia Jax be put in a snowplow. For my sports entertainment, I would pay top dollar to see Nia Jax be put in a snowplow.
Delicious.
Talk about me.
Well, we go to this Cody Rhodes promo, and he took to the ring, and I think he did a really good job saying, like, wrestling legacies. I think he as directly as he corporately could, which is something you can relate to as corporate Cresta. Basically said, like, it's a complicated thing, but the only thing that's not complicated is, I mean, I would say the racism, but it's also not complicated that, like, his contributions to pro wrestling are not complicated. And I thought he did a good job with that, because he didn't sugarcoat anything to the most that he could. And I appreciated that. But he pivots to John Cena and says he wants the real John Cena, not that I'm counting my days till retirement Cena. And Cody asks for the John Cena that ran to the ring and lived hustle, loyalty, and respect. Kind of a standard promo, but I think a necessary one, because I think the John Cena face turn before retirement is coming around the corner. So sometimes Cody's not my favorite promo, because I think a lot of stuff is like babyface textbook. Guess what? It's not for me, but it freaking works. Like, look at the houses it's selling, right? So I can acknowledge, like, something's not for me, but objectively, it's a good call that they're doing it. This one, I think, was actually more important because he's inviting the face turn of John Cena in. And I think, A, this John Cena heel turn hasn't worked. We need to make that switch very quickly. And B, you have to have that table setting piece here. And I think Cody did a decent enough job with that tonight. How are you feeling about Cody versus Cena? Do you think Cody wins it at SummerSlam?
Everything I'm about to say is in corporate kayfabe. Cody Rhodes, this is not what you want. And let me tell you why. You want the old John Cena back? The same John Cena who beat the entire Nexus in one night? That John Cena? You couldn't even take out The Rock and Travis Scott. And you want that John Cena? Mr. John Cena with the golden shovel? Cody, I think we're barking up the wrong tree. Also, this is a joke. Before anyone takes us out of context, Cody, you were invited to the cookout, but this was me taking you. Give me that card back. You're not invited. What the hell was that promo? Give me that card.
Not since the Hurt Syndicate was passing out cards.
It's like, you don't want this, Mr. Cody. And to quote my good friend, Mr. Pearl over on the TNA show, this is a dumb babyface move. You think you want John Cena, but that John Cena does not lose. You're trying to be a good guy, and unless this brings back dastardly dashing Cody, I think you're digging your own golden shovel grave there, pal. I just one more time. Just one more time. I don't know what you're doing here, pal. I don't know. And maybe next summer we can reevaluate. You come into the cookout again. But that was ridiculous on both ends. I would not want to fight prime John Cena. This is I want dejected, emotionally sad, go find my smile John Cena. I'm going to beat him up. Why would you want Super Cena? You know what this makes as much sense as? Goku giving Cell a sensu bean and saying, yo, I need you at full power. Let's mix it up. What are we doing here? Cody, you got to go heal at this point. You got to shoot that. Don't get him here.
Cresta.
The views expressed by corporate Cresta in this moment do not reflect that on Fightful. That was a joke. That was a joke. But I'm just saying, why would you want Super Cena? I was so sports confused by that. I'm like, bro, maybe the spirit of the Hulkster is making you pumped up, brother, but you're not him. He's him. Like, don't do that. I don't know. I was very.
You know what? I really love your logic about that. That like, why are you calling for the mega version of John Cena when you couldn't beat the version that called on Travis Scott? Like, that's a really solid point. Chat loving that you're calling out the Dragon Ball Z reference, by the way. My God.
But that's what it was. You said, bro, I don't want the part of you that has a broken hip. I need you to go to my surgeon and get the best bionic hip. So when you kick me in the nuts, it comes out of my mouth. What are we doing? I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to fight Prime Taker. I want to fight Taker now. I don't want to fight Prime Michelle McCool. I want to fight Michelle McCool now. Okay. I don't want no 30-minute classic.
Opportunist Cresta is kicking corporate Cresta's ass, to be honest. You're like, give me you're the worst version of yourself so I can win.
Is that not the
I respect
way?
that.
JBL did the same thing. The Wyatt 6 did the same thing.
I love it. Oh, look, the chat. SRS, we found Kate's perfect partner outside of Alex, of course. You guys are sweet. You guys are sweet to us.
We love Alex.
I'm
not trying to take Alex's job.
No, Alex walked away, man. Alex quit last week. He went to a different
from the grind.
Cresta would be an awesome heel looking for every advantage. Cresta, here's the thing. She has the personality of a babyface because you love her around these parts, but she's too damn clever to stay one for too long.
I'm an anti-hero.
Cresta as a wrestler would be a lot of ain't I a stinker, I think. Like it would be a lot of, I feel like I could see that. Where it's like, you sneaky little, but we love you. I could see it.
I'd be more like Stone Cold, but specifically Stone Cold drinking milk. In that Booker T match, he's just like, specifically that version of Stone Cold, the one where him and Kurt Angle were walking around with the little hats.
Perfect.
That's perfect. That specific Stone Cold is me.
I love it. Let's keep working our way through, guys. Thank you so much for the support tonight. We know this was like a little bit of a weird one. But we get the Fatu and Solo angle. We'll run through all of this kind of at once here. Jacob Fatu with a strong personal promo about Solo, kind of turning his back on him, which family doesn't do. If you've watched Fast and Furious, you know. And then Miz tried to puff up his chest and he slaps Jacob Fatu, which I gotta say, Miz, a veteran of the industry, a Grand Slam champion, hasn't been around in a while, maybe not familiar with Jacob Fatu's game. Not a great idea, Mike Mizanin. Not your best call to slap Jacob Fatu. I guess the car crash angle from last week is done because there's not really any talk of it today. But the Miz, the show was in Cleveland, so you're gonna see him out there. But it was a little weird because he's a heel, but you know he's gonna get a reaction in Cleveland, so I get it. But the Miz gets a little bit of offense in thanks to Solo, but this was all Fatu. We get a suicide dive to the outside and a pop-up Samoan drop inside for the pinfall. We got a post-match beatdown from the Solo crew and all of his goons. I know that you were confused by the name Talatonga. I saw that on social media and I laughed out loud. But Jimmy Uso comes down and tries to even the odds with a chair, but he's overpowered by Talatonga, not Tamatonga. Fatu got late. You were like, that's Hikuleo.
Bro, he kept saying Tamatonga. I'm like, I don't know what his new name is, but it's not Tamatonga. I know what Tamatonga look like. That's Hikaleo, pal. And then he was like, that's Talatonga. I'm like, we have to work on some enunciation because I heard everybody heard Tamatonga.
Alex Pulowski thinks that by nature of it, that should make JC Mateo, the former Jeff Cobb, White-a-Tonga, because that guy is built like a. My sister said, and I love this, and you're new to this post show, so I'll repeat it. My sister said he's built like the armoire in Beauty and the Beast, like that, with just the drawers, and how it's like this and tiny little legs. She's not wrong. She doesn't watch wrestling, but she saw him, and that was her immediate reaction. It was the best.
Hey, I'll tell you a joke, but I won't tell you. I have this. I'm so hot from laughing. I'll tell you a joke. I won't tell you a lie. I'm not going to comment on that because that's true. That's true.
It is. So this was good. We get Solo getting some heat. It's a bit repetitive, but SummerSlam's only a week away. So even though it's dragging its feet a little bit, like overall, I feel like this has been pretty productive. And Solo finally is like getting the reactions he wanted. Annoying, like muted reactions, but the crowd was cursing at him. So this was fine. This was not like a wrestling like, oh, sick. This is going to be great. I'm here for the pro wrestling aspect of this. Was not this show. A lot of interference, but like this is what I would expect. This is the next step in the paint by numbers of all of this. Any thoughts on this?
I have just one thought, and I have reviewed the footage. Mr. Mizanin, do not come to my HR office. I seen the way you slapped Mr. Fatu.
That's against corporate policy.
See, I understand that the WWE is a different type of place, and sometimes we solve our problems with our fists. However, hood rules dictate that if you slap someone and they smile at you, oh, it's time to move to another country, baby. I don't know why you thought you were going to win that. Also, Solo Sikoa getting the reaction he is now, this is the most interesting he's been. It's almost like Ricochet levels of corny where it's turned the bend of, this is funny. It's him doing, am I right?
It is. It's working. You're right.
You're working my nerves and it's working.
Yeah, like ever since they let him have a little more personality, he's really, really like turned a corner with it. Really,
Those
really.
Uso kids are funny. They're all funny. All three of them are funny. All three of them.
They've got like their own unique, like some people forget how like funny Roman was at points too. Like there's a sense of humor thing there. Like Roman was known for being the dictatorial ruler of it, but like some of the stuff with Sami Zayn, like he had comedic timing for too, and stuff. Like it's much better than Solo Sikoa standing like this, being
with no shoes on. I'm glad they.
Let's keep moving along. We get this we're gonna talk about because I know you love Zelina. We get this video package for John Cena, but backstage we get Zelina confronting Julia, and Kiana James is her proxy. It seems like some sort of mouthpiece for Julia, which I'm intrigued to see. I don't want Kiana James not to wrestle. I know she had a pretty nasty injury though, so if this is what gets her back on screen and she wrestles down the line, cool. If maybe in-ring isn't the best case for her, that works too. But we get Zelina Vega getting her rematch next week, and we get Ryan Sacchini. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at this game. Saying I don't hate the Julia Kiana link up. I'm just glad to see her back on television again. But sets up tags and singles matches with Flair and Bliss down the road likely. Here's what I agree with that. I'm glad to see Kiana on screen. If I see a singles champion in a tag program again, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be sitting in Cresta's office with her, calling WWE creative into HR, because the fact that this tag champion, or her US championship rather, has not been defended, I don't think since June when she won it, is ridiculous. It wasn't on Evolution. It wasn't on Saturday Night's Main Event. It's not being defended on SummerSlam. They had like 5 events in like 3 days, and they didn't do anything with her US title at all. And I don't need tag programs building out every singles championship. And when you have someone of Julia's skill, make that mid-card title the workhorse title. That's the beauty of mid-card titles, is you can get less intense on feuds and more intense on character arcs of like, she just keeps beating people, so she's a dominant champion until she runs into someone who gives her a run for her money and you do a trilogy or whatever. But this US title, Zelina's reign wasn't, right? Like, she had no wins going into it to earn it. And then she got to hold on to it for 5 minutes, had one defense against Chelsea Green and dropped it. And we're not off to a great start with Julia, who's incredible in the ring. So they should have just maybe started with one women's mid-card title that floated and then built out a second one, because it just hasn't been a productive device. Very happy to see Kiana back on TV. She's a great wrestler, though, too. I don't want that to get lost in it, but I'm glad she's being used. She's been reported by Fightful Select at multiple tapings in a backstage situation. So glad to see her in front of the camera today. You're a Zelina stan. Talk to me.
Well, Zelina Vega is my employee of the month at the Cresta Star Promotions. Every month, there's no days off. But I want to back up, and I'll take it one step farther. The U.S. title has kind of been directionless from the jump. I feel like you made it to coincide with the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and it was kind of like a here damn moment. I like what Chelsea Green was doing it. Whether it was a joke or not, it was relevant. The same way I feel about Zelina Vega. Okay, it made sense. She won Queen of the Ring before. She didn't have her chance. You guys dropped her in Puerto Rico to Rhea Ripley. When that would have, to me, if there was a moment to do it, that would have been the moment. But I digress. I understand Rhea Ripley. That being said, don't rebrand her character to then also again do nothing with her while you're simultaneously doing nothing with Julia. Like, again, Zelina Vega, I'm a stan. But if I'm her, I'm upset because now you got me revamping. You didn't want to give me matches. So where could I go? How could I build my thing? And they're going to blame it on me. Well, all you were doing was taking pictures. All you booked me was to do was take pictures. Conversely, same thing with Julia. Conversely, same thing with Chelsea Green. If you really want to keep it a buck, she was doing comedy jokes with the Secret Hervis. Talk about, I'm the greatest U.S. champion despite being from Canada. So I can't really get upset about the wrestler themselves because you're not putting them into a position to wrestle. You're doing it with Lyra. You can do it with these ladies. Or are you saying that if it's not about these certain groups of women, it's
irrelevant? Yeah. Like it's very frustrating because I mean, Lyra's reign was really directionless at the beginning. She was fighting for every title that wasn't her own and as many qualifiers as she could. But like, to your point about like, you're not giving me matches on TV. Zelina had like 5 singles wins in the past 3 years or something on television. Like it's kind of nuts. And when you look at it, it's like Dominic, super over. Braun Breaker, super over with their title reigns. Nakamura, that got a little weird. I think he's in some rough shape, but LA Knight was super over with his mid-card title. Fatu, super over with his mid-card title. This is the most over Solo Sikoa has ever been. So when I look at the men's side and I look at the women's side, I got to wonder. And to your point, it felt like they created that title for Chelsea Green because her and Michin had this awesome trilogy. And now BFAB and Michin had an alliance. And now BFAB is just with the Street Profits without any explanation again. Like I don't want to see them get lazy in an era where they were doing more work than they had been all decade of tying up loose ends, of explaining things. Like we're right back in the doldrums with that. And I don't like that. But speaking of Miss BFAB, we do get this backstage with the Street Profits and DIY bickering about how to handle the Wyatt family. Just didn't really go anywhere, was kind of recycled. But this whole angle has been the Wyatt Six is putting the entire tag team division on notice. I like BFAB paired with them. I just don't know why she was like, hey, those guys lost the title. This is my moment. It's a weird situation. Like, what's that? Like, oh man, now that guys don't have titles, I'm interested. That's just not doing it for me. This wasn't much of anything, but if you have anything that you want to shout out, feel free to.
This was a MacGuffin. This told me that we're not getting a clean finish in the main event. Also, the whole 10-minute intro of the Wyatt. We weren't getting it.
Well, I'll tell you something. If you want clean maintenance of your internet connection, we know just the tool for you. If you want a clean handling of your passwords, we know just the tool for you. If you want to feel great about the way that you travel and secure and safe, we got the tool for you. And guess what? Everything I just mentioned, covered by NordVPN.
If you're a wrestling fan and you're frustrated with all the services you need to watch all the different wrestling shows, Fightful has your solution with nordvpn.com/Fightful. Change your virtual location with just one click, and you'll be able to watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and PLEs on one Netflix account. You'll also be able to get a lot of pay-per-views at a much more affordable price than you do here in the United States. This is a must-have for wrestling fans. That way you don't have to have 7 different accounts to watch all of the shows that you want to watch. In addition to that, they have a great 30-day money-back guarantee and an incredible deal right now going on. But that's far from it. You can protect yourself on their VPN service, the fastest in the world, shield your data from snoops and criminals, protect yourselves on public Wi-Fi, and it's available on all your devices and operating systems. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
NordVPN.com/Fightful. The tool for you. Tool for you. Couple more chats before we plug along to this main event. Alan Jeanette said, sad that 2 tag team matches aren't in the division. I don't know what you mean by that. 2 tag team matches aren't in the division.
Do you mean the women, like 2 women tag teams?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, if you meant like the Julia and Kiana alliance. I mean, it feels like they're putting more effort into the women's tag division because we are getting like the Kabuki Warriors reunited, and Charlotte and Alexa are 2 of the top stars, but I've just been hurt too many times before Cresta. Like, they put the titles on Jade and Bianca and they still didn't care about them. So I can't keep opening my heart. I can't keep opening my heart to this women's tag division, Cresta.
I mean, honestly, people don't quit good jobs. They quit bad bosses.
I love it. And I would imagine corporate Cresta from HR knows how to deal with that better than anyone. Like, who would know better?
Cattle prod them. Yes.
Yeah. This chat, go watch Joel Pro go off on In the Weeds. It was glorious. I think this is in regards to Hogan and his newly found Christianity specifically, which was quite a rant. Quite a rant if you are into rants. In the Weeds is a good place for them. I will also say Jeremy and SP3 found out about this in real time on air. So if you want to see just like unbridled, unfiltered reactions, there's some entertainment waiting for you on Fightful Overbooked. But let's talk about this main event. Last call for super chats and humper chats. We get what was a fun tag match with the DQ ending. I gotta say, like, interference in the Fatu match. Like, we get the DQ ending here. I'm getting very fatigued on looking at a Raw and a SmackDown card and being like, that's your DQ, that's your interference. And I can see it from miles away, but this was mostly just like final segment hype. We talked about how great that vignette was earlier. Andrade with an incredible suit and hat on, saying like, we're here to win the tag championships and make money. I just love that he always goes back to make money. It's such an old school thing, but we do have this DQ finish. Unsurprisingly, you alluded to the incredibly long introduction. It's hard because it's really cool, but it is also like, all right, let's get to the point. But we have Andrade hitting the message, but Nikki Cross yanking the ref out for the DQ. It feels like Lumis and Gacy felt a little below Fenix and Andrade as far as like what we saw in the ring tonight. Post-match, you had Eric Rowan coming to attack Andrade, disposing of Fraxium. The machine gun shows up, but Rowan takes them out with a double crossbody. Andrade and Fenix wake up and they attack Rowan. Like, we get everything breaking down. The Street Profits coming out to deal with Rowan. DIY run down with Nick Aldis, which I thought was cute. Fraxium dive on DIY, and Dawkins is taking on a huge pile of bodies, basically, in all of this. Aldis says that he's had enough, and we'll get a TLC match so everyone can get this out of their system. So that is good. That is good to see. The DQ finish was just extremely predictable. And Andrade and Fenix are a really, really fun team. And while I appreciate the characters of Lumis and Gacy, the chemistry just wasn't quite there. Part of it is probably the fact that like this incredibly clunky ending was on its way in. But perfectly serviceable. It accomplished what they were looking to set out. It was just things that like I could see miles away, and I didn't need my contacts in or binoculars. Like it was extremely obvious. But what says you, Miss Cresta?
I mean, I have seen refs pretty much get their legs exploded and don't call it DQ. So I was a little sports concerned that the moment Nikki Cross touched and Lashley's like, oh no, I believe that that ref, her name is Deshawn or Deshawn. I'm not sure. Please don't beat me up in the comments. I'm not sure. But she was like, oh, hell nah. And you're spooky. Ring the bell. I respect it. But at the same time, it's like, it's one of those things where you want to have a definitive finish. So, yeah, them all coming out. SummerSlam is in a week's time. So, absolutely, that makes sense. You have your tables and ladders and chairs match. But I still go back to, I guess, but what about Julia? And then I think about other grudge matches on the SummerSlam card where it goes back to, I guess. And even then with Julia, I'm like, does that mean that it is going to be a triple threat eventually? May don't know.
I think this was setting up the TLC match more than it was about tonight. But to your point, like Julia being left off of there stinks. And when you have 2 nights of SummerSlam, it just feels kind of like,
there's no way that all of your champions should be defending at SummerSlam.
Yeah, 100%.
And to me, there's no reason why you can find space for Becky and Lyra, but you can't find space for Julia. Even on the pre-show of both nights, 6 hours of wrestling, and you can't find space for one of your champions. Curious. I'll be seeing you after the function, creative, Mr. Fitting, Mr. Levesque.
Stepping into Cresta's office. Well, corporate Cresta, if we want to hang out with you outside of the office, but also not at a Coldplay concert, where can people find you?
Ladies and gentlemen, this week, call me SP3 because I am here 3 days in a row. Yesterday and on Thursdays, you can catch me and Joel Pearl going over all things TNA. This time I was here on Friday. Thank you guys for welcoming me into your lovely Friday night Smackdown abode. Who knows? Maybe I'll be here more. Maybe I'll be here less. Who knows? Every Saturday, myself, myself, Iridian. Sometimes SP3 and Blake Christian, Riccicino, we go over all things AEW Collision. I sometimes do other things on Fightful. I'm Graham Grapsody, but if you need Cresta Star in your life, I'm tweeting all the time. That's going to be Cresta the Star over on Twitter. Any other place on social media, it's just Cresta Star, CRESTA STARR. I love you. You love me. Hope you find $20 on the floor and your butt looks nice. No sexual harassment because I won't be showing up to court. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank Cresta for filling in tonight. And I also just want to say thank you to the chat. I know this was like a complex one for a lot of people to navigate emotionally. For the most part, comments were productive and in the realm of reasonable conversation. And I appreciate that we just had like a respectful exchanges of people that wanted to talk about what Hulk Hogan's contributions were and the very real side of the Terry Bollea stuff. This has been a lot for some fans of wrestling to process, especially the ones that found that he was the catalyst that got him into it. So just thank you to the chat for not making me be like, I have to immediately call Luis to moderate because I am overwhelmed. So thank you for being so kind. You can catch me all over this channel. You can catch me at Kate Fabe on YouTube, and you can catch me Wednesdays at the Mark Order talking all things All Elite. I see Alex Pulowski waiting in the shadows, but I don't know if he wants to come on to this show or if he's just, yes? You want me to add you?
Come out of the shadow realm, Alex.
Hi. Hi. I'm going to do my show like right after you guys are done. So I thought if people were in the chat who wanted to then come over and crash behind the paywall, they could do that. And I wanted to give them an opportunity.
I will walk my dog and be one of them. I will be joining on Fightful Select because I am very anxious to hear Alex's thoughts in a good way.
Yeah, behind the paywall thoughts too. Those are always the best.
Alex,
we
quick
love
question.
those.
What is your shirt? Because I see Baba. That shirt is too cool. I'll never be as cool as you. I'll never be.
It's Mario Kart Mad Max. That's what it is. I mean,
that's what I thought. I'm like, this looks so. I'll never be as cool as you. I'm sorry.
Alex says it incredible.
Right back at you. There's no way that I've ever be as cool as the Cresta Star.
Well, tonight, cool. Alex, we got corporate Cresta, so I think by nature, that's uncool. But head over to Fightful Select. We had scoops there all day, including reactions to MJF making towns while he's got this Happy Gilmore 2 promotional schedule. People are happy that he's been able to make those tapings. All sorts of news on the injury front. Unfortunately, lots going up. But most importantly, you had Sour Graps from this fella right here that you can check out. Grap City tomorrow as well. And then, baby, we're on the way home to SummerSlam. So subscribe to this YouTube channel. We'll see you behind the paywall for those of you who are joining. And next Friday.